One detail changes the whole story. Justice Department over planned release of conversations with biographer. Here's what people aren't talking about. This lawsuit isn't just about blocking an interview, it's a huge political move that could change everything. People are searching for this because the stakes couldn't be higher. Biden files to block 70 hours of audio recordings, and conservatives are already slamming his Nato press conference as a disaster. But that wasn't the real shock. And that's where it got messy. Biden's decision to sue the Justice Department is more than just a legal battle, it's a move that could impact his entire campaign. Republicans are questioning his fitness for office amid health concerns, and Democrats are keeping their thoughts quiet until after the week. But here's the big question: what if this lawsuit doesn't stop the release? Then what happens next? If you enjoyed this story, subscribe. New stories every week. The U.S. Justice Department was planning to release 70 hours of audio recordings tied to a special counsel probe. Here's what people aren't talking about. This story became much bigger than expected. Joe Biden, 81 years old and in his second term as president, found himself at the center of a legal battle. He sued the U.S. Justice Department to block the release of these recordings, which involved conversations with a biographer. The timing couldn't have been worse, just days before the NATO summit, where Biden was facing intense scrutiny from conservatives and Republicans. Nancy Pelosi and Vice President Kamala Harris were keeping their thoughts on Biden quiet until after the week. But that wasn't the real shock. Conservatives were slamming Biden's NATO press conference as a disaster, pointing out his gaffes and confusion. And don't forget, Donald Trump was out there questioning Biden's fitness for office amid health concerns. The stakes were high. If Biden lost this legal battle, it could be a major blow to his presidency. The U.S. Justice Department had already stated they would release the recordings as part of an ongoing investigation. This wasn't just about blocking a few conversations, it was about controlling the narrative and maintaining Biden's image. And that's where it got the U.S. Justice Department had already stated they would release the recordings as part of an ongoing investigation. This wasn't just about blocking a few conversations, it was about controlling the narrative and maintaining Biden's image. And that's where it got messy. Joe Biden, 81 years old and facing health concerns, filed a lawsuit to block the release of 70 hours of interviews with his biographer. The White House knew this move would set off a firestorm. Here's what people aren't talking about. This legal battle over biographers' conversations became much bigger than expected. Vice President Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi were shocked by the decision, but they kept their thoughts to themselves until after the week. Ashley Biden, Joe's daughter, was furious. "Dad's taking a stand," she said, "but it's not about him, it's about us." The move hit Biden hard at the NATO summit in Brussels. Conservatives slammed his press conference as a disaster. Donald Trump seized on the opportunity to question Biden's fitness for office. "Joe can't handle the truth," he tweeted, drawing immediate attention. And that wasn't the real shock. The internet noticed something else. Republicans were questioning whether Biden should even be in the race given his health, but that wasn't the real shock. The internet noticed something else. Ashley Biden, Joe's daughter, tweeted a scathing message about her father's actions. "I can't believe my dad is doing this," she wrote. "It just shows how out of touch he really is." This tweet sent shockwaves through social media, with thousands of users agreeing that Biden was acting inappropriately. The White House was quick to defend Biden, stating, "These legal battles are part of the political process and shouldn't distract from our focus on national security and economic recovery." However, this statement didn't placate many voters. Nancy Pelosi chimed in, saying, "We need to see concrete actions from Biden rather than legal posturing." And that's where it got messy. The Democratic Party was divided. Kamala Harris called for a unity meeting to discuss the fallout, but the atmosphere was tense. "We can't afford distractions," she said firmly, though her words fell on deaf ears. The stakes were high. If Biden couldn't handle these legal challenges, what did that say about his ability to lead? The race for the presidency had just become even more unpredictable. And that wasn't all. This lawsuit against the U.S. Justice Department over 70 hours of audio recordings tied to a special counsel probe just made everything even messier. People are searching this right now because Biden's fitness for office is suddenly in question, and his opponents are pouncing. But what really matters is how these legal challenges could impact his campaign. So here's the big question: can Joe Biden handle this? Or will these legal battles expose deeper issues that threaten his presidency? If you enjoyed this story, subscribe. New stories every week.